There is a reason why they call WrestleMania the showcase of the Immortals and the biggest and grandest stage of them all. And this show showed why. And in this video, I will talk about all the matches one by one and give my overall opinion of the night itself. For now, I am Leo, this is the Wrestling Retrospective, and let's talk about Night 2 of WrestleMania. So kicking off the night, we had Drew McIntyre defeat Seth Rollins to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. I very much enjoyed this. They played the injury to Seth and kind of how Seth was hurt really well, and yeah, I loved the start of the match where Drew went straight for a Claymore and got a 2.8 pin out of it. The tweet during the match was great character work from Drew as well. He literally was his character just to a T to tweet bored at work lol mid-match. And yeah, for me, I'm not the biggest fan of finisher fests unless you really need it, but this worked really well. I think it made sense in my opinion. We all knew that Seth was down and out from the night before. Obviously, you could barely walk coming out of the main event of night 1, so this played perfectly into Drew McIntyre's hands. I think after 4 Claymores, Drew McIntyre picked up the win to become the new World Heavyweight Champion, and you could see in his face how much it meant to him. And as much as I don't like Drew McIntyre, I do remember how invested in him I was back at WrestleMania 36 and how awful I felt that he didn't get that moment in front of fans. So I'm happy for him to a point. He fully does deserve it. To take the character away and just have it as the person of Drew McIntyre. Yeah, he's fully deserving of that moment. Even Seth Rollins, who was next to crying, was like, "You deserve it." And yeah, to have him also present the title to his wife was a lovely touch from Drew McIntyre. And then Drew McIntyre, he kind of went from man to character again. And this is when it all kind of went downhill for him. So one thing that Michael Cole has said almost every time Drew McIntyre has wrestled the last few weeks is that he is a massive hypocrite. And this couldn't have been more true when Drew took his eye off the ball after winning the World Championship. He could have presented it to his wife, he could have celebrated in the ring and left, and the whole thing had faded to black. But instead, he got on the announce table, he got into CM Punk's face, he talked all the crap. I didn't hear what he said. Punk couldn't hear what he said because he had cans on, which is what he said. And then Punk took out Drew. He attacked him. Whether he's okay or not, I don't know, or whether it's just a one-off thing, because he wasn't attacking him with his bad arm. And then the other side by Alter Bridge played, and I cheered my ass off. I was so ready for Priest to cash in. He went in, the referee, under no confusion, took the cash in, he announced it, everyone got back in the ring, Priest and McIntyre did, and the ovation from the crowd was incredible. Punk was sat cross-legged on the table while all this went down. Priest hit South of Heaven, and we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in Damian Priest. And Drew McIntyre has been absolutely shat on. And I think after about 5 minutes he lost the world title, and it's almost poetic justice for Drew McIntyre, who has been such a scumbag for the last couple of months since the Royal Rumble, that he had this coming, and it was a top moment for me. I absolutely loved it. I couldn't stop laughing, I couldn't stop cheering. So happy for Priest as a big fan of the Judgment Day. Is he ready to be a world champion? That remains to be seen. I'm not overly invested, but I would rather have a not overly massively main event ready Priest over Drew McIntyre any day. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. The best way Mania could have started. I absolutely loved it. Congrats to Damian Priest. Fuck Drew McIntyre. And CM Punk just sat on the table laughing his ass off at Drew was just perfect. All of this went down fantastically. As I said, absolutely loved it. As tough as it will be, something had to follow that, and it was Lashley and the Profits defeating the Final Testament in a street fight. This was really fun, similar to last night. It kind of had a purpose to just be a bit of fun after such a serious and massive ovation moment. And yeah, this was like a laugh, but in a good way. We had Snoop Dogg on commentary, who was very comedic. We got a Bubba Ray Dudley special guest referee, which I didn't see coming. I didn't know it was going to be a thing. I don't know if it was announced on the pre-show or not. but it definitely added to the occasion, especially, of course, with it being in Philadelphia and ECW. And I think this match went around 8 minutes, but it was action-packed throughout. Scarlett and B-Fab did a table spot, which was really cool, and it again added to the match more. Montez Ford had a really good showing, throwing himself from one side of the ring over the top rope onto the Authors of Pain, and also getting kind of the final move in as he put Karrion Kross through the table. Lashley looked really good as well throughout. The Profits looked great. Andre Ducking didn't do a great lot, but he got to do his kind of pounce to both members of AOP. And in my opinion, the right team won. Bobby needed the win. I think after missing last year's WrestleMania, obviously due to the unfortunate passing of Bray Wyatt, they needed to put Bobby back on track, and I think this was a good way to go about it. I feel like Kross can definitely get that build back up again, or they definitely need it as a team. I feel like the draft is going to come definitely into this, as I would have these two go on completely separate brands like they should have probably been in the first place. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of Karrion Kross, so I'm really hoping that they kind of build him back up again and they can become more of a dominant team. Now, as for Lashley and the Profits, hopefully, they see better things after WrestleMania. Maybe get some gold on them with the tag titles now being split up. There's more chances for the Profits to be tag team champions. Bobby Lashley could go after either championship, really, either the world title, the WWE title, depending on what brands they're going to be on. I'm not sure yet. I suppose we'll find out on Raw tonight, or the United States Championship. I don't mind either way, but hopefully both of these teams have gone out, killed it for 8 minutes, and then they're going to reap the benefits by just having themselves elevated to the next level over the next few months on Raw and SmackDown. But for me, this match served a purpose, and it was very enjoyable. Positives all around from me for this one. After that, we had LA Knight defeat AJ Styles. This was good. I haven't got really much to say about this one. The right guy won. It was contested very evenly. Both looked great. Styles' new theme is ass. It is so bad. Death Rebels need to leave. Please, we need Jim Johnston back. Even CFO $, get them back. They were good too. But, oh man, Death Rebel are so bad at themes. They need to get rid of them so soon. They're so bad. Yeah, this is by far the biggest win of LA Knight's career. And yeah, I think so far it's been absolutely great for both these guys. Like, the match was really good. And yeah, I feel like Styles can definitely bounce back. He's a legend in the wrestling industry. He can definitely just, it's not a huge defeat to eat at WrestleMania. And hopefully this will be the start of kind of, now he's got a new theme, new presentation, he can start having feuds with somebody where they can elevate him and he can start building momentum back to being a main event character. And as for LA Knight, he can continue the momentum he has now begun again against AJ Styles and build him back up to maybe a world title scene or maybe the United States Championship. Either way, this man needs gold. He needs it quickly. Obviously, we did have the new Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn. Maybe that's an option. Again, there's more options available now that we know a draft is going to happen. So hopefully we can see LA Knight get some gold around his way soon. And same for AJ Styles, really. But yeah, overall, great match. No complaints at all, really. I was down the middle for this one. Wanted both to win. Both delivered. Very, very happy with how this worked out. After that, we had Logan Paul successfully defend the United States Championship against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in a triple threat match. This was great. I enjoyed the dynamic of the match. The fact that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were going in as friends or allies. And then, kind of once they'd beaten down Logan a bit, they kind of just agreed to start fighting themselves. I thought this was really good. For me, it was a standout compared to any other triple threat match, and all these guys had all really good showings, all had a moment in the spotlight where they could show themselves off and really kind of have momentum towards who was going to get there and who wasn't. And yeah, so in just any other comparisons to other matches, it just felt different. It felt like, the dynamic was perfectly good. And yeah, just very, very positive just as the triple threat, stipulation, as a whole. Logan Paul had another mascot. It definitely wasn't KSI, and I don't think it wasn't Jake Paul, as kind of you could see his arms, and the build of his arms was definitely not either one of them, but it was iShow speed. I don't really know much about the guy. My brother, who was watching with me, had to explain who he was because he's a lot younger than me. But he took an RKO on the table, so respect for him for that, because that shit hurts. And yeah, as I expected, like almost every Logan Paul match, he's trying to cheat, he's trying to get one up against Thing. The brass knuckles did work, he got him on Randy and on Kevin Owens twice, a body shot and a headshot. But, you know, in the end, kind of Randy Orton got kind of the better of him. There was a beautiful moment where Kevin Owens went for a pop-up powerbomb and Randy Orton reversed it into an RKO. But, man, I think Randy Orton could turn any move into an RKO at this point and it would just look smooth as butter. But yeah, to kind of end after the RKO, Logan Paul came in, took out Randy Orton, and he retained successfully here. I assume he'll probably keep it till maybe SummerSlam now, just because it's in Cleveland and he's kind of the poster boy of SummerSlam this year. As for Randy and Kevin Owens, I'm not sure where they go here. I mean, they can carry on with their alliance, but not make it into a tag team. We don't need any more singles guys being a tag team. Or they could go their separate ways. As I said, the draft is going to come up with some stuff that might split teams up, or might split friends up, I don't know. But either way, whatever they do, I'm sure it's going to be great. And Logan Paul's very impressive, just match quality, consistency, as well as a good run as US champion continues. And I look forward to see where that goes next. Following that, we had Bayley defeat Io Sky to become the new WWE Women's Champion. And for me, out and out wrestling wise, this was the best match of the weekend. And the Roman and Cody stuff was great, and we will get to that. But I just thought as a wrestling match overall, this was a great showing, not only for the women, but just in general, was very, very good. Bayley was on form, so was Io, it was fantastic. And I think if the build for this match had been a bit better, and not just like attacks, I think I understand that Io and the promo stuff might not have worked out just because of the English stuff. But as I said, if it had been a bit better, and the bloodline stuff wasn't so goddamn brilliant, this match could have main evented a night one of WrestleMania, in my opinion, and really been held up to a higher standard. But for me, as I said, out and out wrestling wise, this was fantastic. Both ladies went out there and killed it. And once again, they're kind of playing it a lot more, but Bayley's going by the role model moniker again, which I like. That was used more frequently during the pandemic era of WWE. And I'm glad that we're getting that again, but as a babyface, as she's 100% a role model to women who are looking to become wrestlers in the future. And yeah, I think her new theme seems alright. You know, I didn't properly hit, like, obviously you don't get the full experience of it when it's through the arena and stuff. I think if they release it and have a good listen to it, it doesn't sound too bad. It kind of mixes her old one and a new one, which is great. She seemed to low-key reinvent herself. She's dyed her hair blue and purple, and there's kind of that like Egyptian goddess kind of thing, which I liked. I don't know whether that'll be consistent or just a one-off for WrestleMania, so I assume we'll see that on SmackDown. But yeah, due to the reinvention made sense just due to her new turn as a babyface. Io, just going into the match, Io had some absolutely fantastic reversals throughout this match. And, you know, even in defeat showed that she is just a top-class ladies wrestler. You know, for me, the point that stuck out for me was when Bayley went to hit Rose Plant and Io, like, back-flipped out of it or something. It was incredible. I loved it. Io went for the standing backflip, then did it from the second rope, went for it to the top rope, but Bayley got hold of her. But yeah, just like, I don't want to go through everything that happened. I think most people have watched it. If you haven't, go and watch it. It's a very, very good match. And just as far as reversals go and just completely fluid wrestling wise, it was brilliant and probably the highest standard of the weekend. And I think the closest match to this was probably Sami and Gunther from the night before. But yeah, I think Bayley 100% deserves the championship. You know, the night almost belonged to her as far as women went, and, you know, this is a huge Mania moment for her. And once again, she just absolutely deserves it. You know, she's always, for me, from my point of view, she's always seen as like the fourth of the horsewomen. You know, because Becky, Charlotte and Sasha came up before her. You know, she stayed down in NXT for a bit, then came up later on. But this is like solidifying her as like top two in the horsewomen, for me anyway. You know, I think Becky's always been my favourite, but Bayley for me has just been so good. Like, she killed it during the pandemic when she practically put the company on her shoulders and just did some amazing promo work and storytelling. When we got to Damage Control, which should have been so much more, and it's very unfortunate that it hasn't become what it could have been. But now Bayley's reaping the benefits of just being such a almost legend already. You know, she's a living Hall of Fame nearly, and yeah, I very much look forward to her matches for this World Championship during this reign. And yeah, just congratulations to Bayley, fully deserved. And in the main event of Night 2 of WrestleMania, in the main event of WrestleMania 40 as a whole, Cody Rhodes defeated Roman Reigns. He finished the story and became the new WWE Champion. And what a way to finish WrestleMania. A main event of the highest of orders, and will be talked about for the rest of history when the word WrestleMania is brought up. You know, for me it was a match of two halves, or more like a match of the first 20 minutes, which was good old wrestling, and just, you know, I think for me the wrestling was better than last year in these first 20 minutes than it was, you know, as the whole of the match last year. You know, you could tell that Roman and Cody had learned each other from the year before. Yeah, it was really good. Weapons were used, which showed them the bloodline rules style of the match. We had the extreme elements, which was very good. And it's good that that kind of stuff came into play. I was worried at one point that we were just going to get wrestling and the only part of bloodline rules was going to be the interferences that I assumed were going to come, that eventually did. But yeah, Roman doing a crossroads and then kind of burying it, saying that he couldn't ever win anybody a match, was a great story piece of this match and was absolutely fantastic. The match then started to pick up, finishers started being hit. You know, as I said, Roman did a crossroads, Cody did a spear. We were getting kick out at 2, but not too close. It was fine. And then we had the beginning of the interferences. And that's when the kind of final 12 to 13 minutes, you know, it was moment after moment after moment. We got on Roman's side, on the Bloodline side, we got Rock, Solo and Jimmy. And then on Cody's side, we got Jay, we got Cena, we got Rollins, and we got The Undertaker. And the atmosphere was electric. The crowd was incredible. The storytelling was impeccable. You know, we had Roman, you know, he started off with Jay and Jimmy. Jay taking out Jimmy and throwing him off, well, not throwing, he speared him off the stage, taking them both out. Solo came in, we did the spear and spike combination, which Cody then kicked out at 2, which brought out John Cena to the ring. He attitude adjustment Roman, he attitude adjustment Solo through the announce table, and then we got the final boss, The Rock, came out. And then Cena did this stupid thing where it was very clear that he was about to punch The Rock when he did the "you can't see me" sign, went for a punch and he reversed it into a rock bottom, which then took him out. And then when everyone expected a shatter of glass and Stone Cold Steve Austin to make his way down to the ring, we didn't. We got the gong and The Undertaker showed up in the ring. He chokeslammed Rock and he took them both away. We saw The Rock later on. He was only on the outside. The Undertaker was under the ring because everyone saw his arm when he went for a weapon, which is kind of funny. You know, I don't mind that stuff happening because you know then something's going to happen. You know, that and that's really cool. But sorry, completely forgot. I keep forgetting about this one. And then before The Undertaker came out and took out The Rock, we got a moment where the Shield music hit. I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were gonna get a Moxley, and then I was in my head in 3 seconds was thinking that, you know, this whole thing with All In being announced for Dynamite this week was a work, and that WWE and AEW were working together. It was all going through my very quickly, and then Roman speared Seth Rollins. That if you were actually watching the broadcast, we didn't really see Seth at all, ever. I don't know whether it was a case of a cameraman being in the wrong place, or just a case of they didn't cut to the right place, or whatever, or whether Seth was just so beat up that he could barely walk by himself, so they just didn't have him on camera. But Roman suddenly speared somebody, and it was Seth. Then The Undertaker came out, which was incredible, and kind of when the dust settled, and The Rock was gone, and Taker was gone, and Cena was gone, and Solo was out, and Jay and Jimmy were out of sight, out of mind. We were left with Roman stood tall, Cody getting up on one side of the ring, Seth Rollins getting up on the other side, but Seth is wearing Shield gear, similarly to the Royal Rumble 2022 when he came out in Shield gear. And Roman, in what was just a great reference to something that happened 10 years ago now, 10 plus years ago. He got a chair and he took out Seth the same way Seth took out Roman. And I'll be honest with you, it was almost a poetic injustice being rectified. The Shield were all about injustice, and Roman felt like this, he had been injustified. I don't know if that's a word, but you know what I mean. But this gave Cody enough time to recover. Roman goes for a spear. Rollins. Cody reverses it, hits 3 crossroads, and we have a new WWE champion. And Samantha Irving, as good as she always is, made this so much more. You could hear it in her voice. She was nearly crying while making the announcement of Cody being the new world champion, and it made the moment all the more special. It was an incredible sequence of events leading to a history, all-time making moment on the biggest stage of them all. And for me, I think for a lot of people, Cody is immortalized. It was simply a showcase. It was fucking amazing. Thank you, WWE, for all of that. It was incredible. Overall, WrestleMania Night 2 was fantastic. It was the best premium live event we've had in a very long time. I'd say it was show of the decade, maybe even show of the 2000s, I'm not sure. But it just had awesome wrestling. It had masterclass of storytelling, extreme moments, and an ending that will last a lifetime. An unforgettable show and WWE at its absolute finest. In NXT, Triple H would say FTMF. Follow that, motherfuckers. Now, if I am any other pro wrestling company right now, I am shitting myself. Because WWE has once again, as much as we doubt it sometimes, as much crap as we've been through over the last few years, WWE has come again and set the standard for what is professional wrestling. And it was just an incredible night full of all kinds of emotions, and I would put this up against any other wrestling show because it was fantastic from start to finish. So once again, thank you WWE for that.